What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, this morning, wherever you're tuning in from, I have an amazing guest. I have the one and only Jake fucking Crist in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to have him on. We're going to have a great conversation. But before I bring on Mr. Crist, I want to take a quick pause for that fucking cause to thank some of those amazing sponsors and help this show be free for all of you every single week. First up is healthvape.com. HealthVape is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals. They help restore the energy that you need and they give you the vital boost you need to get through your day, and they are vitamin infused. Alan Funk says they are like vaping a fucking Red Bull. So go and check out healthvape.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Next up is sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is an athlete, need to go and check out Sleeves. This is your one-stop shop for all your athletic wear and gear. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got dirty boxes, ladies and gentlemen. And you've heard me raving about these dirty boxes. They sent me boxes of the boxes of the dirty boxes. I'm going to say boxes a couple more times. Boxes. But guys, I'm an active guy. I've got a full-time job. I podcast a lot. I've got 3 young kids. I'm always on the go. I'm in the gym. And these dirty boxes stay fresh, they stay dry, and they've got funky designs on the front. So when the belt buckle comes undone at the end of the day, Mrs. Austin is actually laughing at what's in the front of the boxes, not what's inside them. Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Austin. But guys, make sure you check out sleece.com. Check out those dirty boxes. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Now, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are finding us, we appreciate you for tuning in to the Piers Austin channel on YouTube and all podcast platforms. If you could please give me a like, share, subscribe, comment, wherever you like. Share to all your wrestling friends and family. Give us a 5-star review on those podcast platforms. I appreciate it. It helps us reach a more broader audience where I can bring you more and more content every single week for free. So please go like, share, subscribe, and we'll get more and more stuff out to you. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Jake fucking Crist, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Crist in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Thank you so much for joining me, man. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you, man. That's amazing. What an intro. You can talk your ass off.
Hey, bro. Yeah, man. You got to know when to, you got to be confident on a mic, bro. If you're going to be doing a podcast.
I want to get some of those dirty boxers, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, those dirty boxes are amazing, man. Like, seriously.
Like the funky designs on the front, that'd be kind of sweet. Hell yeah, you sold me, bro. You sold me. That was awesome.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you. But
I'm thinking myself, like the missus would love to see me with a big elephant print on the front of right there. That'd be dope. That'd be dope to have. The veil would have a crack.
Well, hey, man, when I first got him, I walked in, modeled him for my wife, and she took one look and started laughing. And I went,
yeah,
I'm gonna go
That's
cry in the
true
bathroom.
love.
Thanks.
That's
Yeah,
true love right there. That's true love.
that's it, man. But dude, thank you for coming on the show, man. I'm really excited to have you on. Dude, you look in fantastic shape, man. You're keeping absolutely fit. What's been happening, man? What's been going on? You've been in the wrestling news in the last few weeks with everything going on with IWA, which we will get into down the track. But man, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy lately?
Man, I'm actually on my way to the gym. I walk to the gym. It's only about a I don't know 10-minute walk from my house. It's not a huge hike or whatever, but I like to walk to the gym. Take a couple days off. I appreciate you putting over the fact that I've lost a lot of weight. Put a lot of time and effort into it. Almost October will be 2 years sober from drinking, so it kind of was going down a dark path of drinking. I had to pull myself out of that dark misery hole, and here I am at 175 pounds of pure fucking terror.
Let's get a round of applause. That's fucking awesome, dude. That is fucking
I,
awesome.
yeah, man. When I started this journey, I was around 240 pounds
Wow.
2 years ago. So yeah, man, been busting ass, killing the gym. I like to skateboard a lot. I've been doing skateboarding for cardio, and like I said, been doing two a days for about last year and a half or so. So I've been killing the gym. I asked Trey Miguel, I was like, bro, how did you get those amazing abs? And he goes, hey, bro, check out this app. So he hooked me up with the app and been doing that for the last 8 weeks and haven't looked back. It's been great.
Dude,
So
that's amazing.
hopefully I'll have those Trey Miguel abs soon.
That's it, bro. That's the effort. But you know what, man? Like I always think like people with abs, bro, it's like you got to be fucking miserable, right? Because like you're starving yourself, like eating no carbs. I don't know. I kind of like to be like
Bro,
fat and happy. You know,
it is miserable. It's hard.
it
It's
is.
tough and it's sore, bro. It's painful. It's painful. Like not only like what the things that you just mentioned, but the actual workouts themselves to get those type of Trey Miguel abs. You have to put yourself through some pain, and like I'm about to do that here after we have this amazing show and put myself through some damn pain.
That's it, man.
Oh, I
You,
can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Same here, bro. You mentioned, going down that dark path and getting into the drink. And I really find, and I've gone down those paths as well, man, of like, because I think that alcohol is one of those things. It's like once you start being in a depressive state or you're down and you have that, it sort of like wants to keep you there in that state mentally, I think. And it's like, have another, have another, have another until it's like, before you know it, you have this problem on your hands, right?
It's really that devil on your shoulder that's just like, you can have another. Oh, you're doing this and doing great. Just have another. Just have another. Keep having more. That was my problem. Is once I opened and or unscrewed the bottle, like my uh my drink of choice was Jack Daniels. So I would buy a fifth of Jack Daniels and then I would go to bed that night thinking, oh, only had a couple drinks and look at the thing and it's like either half or more gone and I'm like, whoo, okay. And then like all like during like 2 years ago when all that shit was going down, I was just keep drinking and drinking and drinking. Like I just kept digging myself in that dark, dark, dark path and literally looked at myself. I had a full length mirror in my bedroom. Walked past it to use the restroom, was hungover. Who knows what I was going to do, probably throw up or something. And I looked past that mirror. I was like, I stopped. I was like, I don't even recognize that guy. Who is that guy? And I literally, like, face to face conversation out loud with myself. It's like, man, John, it's time to get yourself together. Like, let's clean up. Like, let's go. And I got done doing my business in the restroom, and then I walked out, and my wife goes, hey, where you going, honey? I'm like, I'm going to the gym. She's like, you don't even have a membership. I'm like, I'm about to. I walked. I've been walking to the gym ever since.
You know, and I think
Literally did recognize that guy. I had the big belly. I literally had my belly in my hands. I was like flapping it around. I had titties. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what are why are, these are tits? Like, you're actually, I had man tits, bro. It was like I said, I was a shell of myself. I didn't know who that guy was in the mirror, and I literally was like, "It's you're done. It's time to quit drinking." And that was October 18th of 2020.
but you know what? I think it's like when people are in that situation, like friends and family can always talk to them, but I always think that you have to have that come to Jesus meeting with yourself, where it's like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's in any change in life, right? Like, you know what I mean? If you're not happy with your appearance, okay, no worries. We'll put down the fucking pizza and hit the treadmill, right? But you
Yeah,
have to have that like premonition. You have to have that motivation to do it. You can't, like, people can say all this shit to you, but like at the end of the day, if you're not going to go, fuck, I need to make a change, nothing will ever change.
I that's what I tell people. So it's like every 6 months, or year, my year anniversary, I threw out, hey, anyone that's struggling with alcohol abuse, alcoholism, hit me up. My DMs are always open, and they always are. So a couple people, they hit me up here and there, and not that I'm some sort of sponsored or trained person to do this, but I just offer my guidance of what helped me. And what I tell people all the time is like, you got to want it yourself. Like, I have 2 children, I have a wife, like, if they would have gave me an ultimatum of pick them or the alcohol, I probably would have picked the alcohol at that time. Because you can't give ultimatums to people struggling and people that actually have a problem with substance abuse. And that's exactly what I had. I had a problem with alcohol, and I had to want it myself. And that's what I tell everybody. You got to want to do it yourself. You can't do it for anybody else. You can't do it for your children. You can't do it for your wife, because you'll always find an excuse. If you fall off the wagon, you always follow an excuse. Like, they do something that pisses you off, you'll want to turn to the alcohol. So, like, I
100%.
always just tell them, I would just offer what helped me. What helped me was I had to want to do it myself. I looked in the mirror, I had to want to change myself. And that's what I offer everybody. Anyone that's ever hit me up, I tell them the same thing. It's like, I've always wanted to do this. I wanted to do this myself. I didn't want to do it for anyone else. I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to get in better shape. I wanted to get healthier for myself so I can provide for my family and the things I need to do. So it's kind of just a way of shaking the cobwebs out and, pulling myself, because I was in a deep, dark cave, and it's hard to pull yourself out as all these bad things are happening. I lost my job, I was off TV. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know what my career was going to in limbo. So I just kept turning to the alcohol, and it was just like, it's time for a change. And that's what it was. Like, you gotta want it yourself. You can't do it for anyone else because you'll find an excuse. And that's the thing. It's like, if you put it on yourself and you put it on you, then it's all on you. There's no one else to blame. There's nowhere else to look. You have to look yourself in the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "Hey, I really want this. I really want to change for the better." And that's how I was able to pull myself out of that dark funk.
Yeah, man. And I think especially when you're in a funk like that and when you're consuming alcohol or drugs, not saying you were not taking drugs or anything, but like weed, for
No,
example.
no, it
You know what I
was
mean?
just
Like,
alcohol. But
that's what I'm saying.
dude,
But
Jack
weed,
Daniels is straight up.
oh, dude,
Jack
I mean,
Daniels, woo!
I'm a Jack drinker, bro. I know, but I think when you start going down alcohol or weed or anything like that, that sort of stuff wants to keep you in the state that you're in. So if you're in a state of misery and depression or like in a funk, it's like, yeah, bro, let's just fucking hang out here in this funk, man. Have another drink, bro. We'll keep you company.
Misery loves company, right? That's
100%.
that's what they say. So I mean, and you have those downers and you mix them and you just keep in that down state and it just mind fucks and just fucks with your mind. And it literally put me in a state of depression where I went crazy and I thought I was having a heart attack and I went to the hospital and I was having a severe panic attack due to loss of job because I lost my job during the pandemic. I didn't even know I couldn't have even go out to go out to get a McDonald's job. You know what I mean? Like there was literally nothing because like that's when the U.S. was completely shut down. You know, so that was around I think July. Yeah, July 2 years ago, I had a mental breakdown because I literally didn't know what was going on. I was in limbo. I didn't know what the hell. I was getting a hold of people. Like, hey, what's going on with my job? It's just nothing back. So it literally just set me in a deeper depression. And like I said, actually, I said July, but I think it was more of closer around the time of when I had that come to Jesus meeting myself, face to face, like, hey, you need to quit drinking. You're literally going to die. Because it was crazy. Because, man, like I said, I'm 200, or I was 240 pounds. I'm 175 pounds now. So I mean, like, literally, I'm around the weight of where I probably should be.
Yeah.
You know, and I was carrying around what, like 80, 90 extra pounds. It was insane.
Yeah.
It's not
And like
good for your organs and all that shit. You know, like
100%.
it's
It's not good
insane.
for your body either. Like, you know what I mean? Like your joints and stuff like that, carrying that much weight. And, you know, it's
Yeah,
good to see
cardio was just walking like
that.
it's insane.
But like with what happened at Impact, like, you know, Impact shutting down, right? So the pandemic hits. You know, was there much communication from Impact, like to the talent, saying like, "Hey, sit by, relax, like take some time off, recover, do what you need to do," or was it just radio silence?
Radio silence for me, like all that stuff. Like so, pandemic, everything shut down in March of what was it, 2020, 2019, or 2020? Can't
2020.
remember. 2020. So March of 2020, March 16th was actually my daughter's birthday. That's why I remember the date. Because I'm not good with dates. I've been hitting the head a lot. Like I know a lot of people use that as an excuse, but literally my memory is so foggy and shitty over the years. It's just insane with all the head trauma. Just learning how to protect yourself on falling, you know, like how many times you hit your head, just learning how to do this is insane. But anyways, with all that being said, March of 2020, all that shit went down. The country shut down. Literally, jobs, everything was put on hold. June 2020, that's when everything, all radio silence happened with me at Impact. And I was literally trying to get a hold of them to find out where I was in the situation. What do I still have a job? What's going on? And literally did not hear anything back from them at all the whole time. And I was under contract with them for 6 months. So from June when all that shit, when the speaking out movement and all that happened, um, June 2020 all the way to December, I was supposed to, I was going to renew in January. There was like I haven't talked to anybody, but I was under the impression that I was going to be offered something and get renewed in January. But being under contract for 6 months with them and not hearing anything, I think it was around 3 or 4 months into that. That's when I had that panic attack that I had, because literally, like, I was running out of money. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I had 2 children depending on me, and wife. Luckily she has a really good job, so she was able to pick up everything that I couldn't. And I asked for my release. I think December 21st. I asked for my release because they just got done doing their tapings. I knew I wasn't gonna get brought back, so I was just like, maybe. And there was a bunch of well, what's the word I'm looking for? A bunch of people's contracts coming up.
Yeah.
So a bunch of free agents was coming down in January. So I thought, like, maybe get a couple weeks ahead of the curve, and say that I'm a free agent, maybe catch some buzz. And I caught a little bit of buzz for asking for my release, and plus I thought that was a way of telling or showing people that, hey, Jake Crist ain't a dickhead. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't get released. He asked for his release. So, like, I thought that would have been a statement for the world to see, but that went in the dark and unheard and unseen. So that was awesome.
How did you enjoy your time at Impact?
I loved every single moment at Impact. Uh, Winning the X Division Championship was the highlight of my career. Beating Rich Swann, Rich Swann being one of my best friends in this business for a very, very long time. Like, I was the guy that went to Rich Swann. I was like, hey, buddy, maybe you should drop those bikers and wear trunks. Like, I talked him into wearing trunks, like the look that you see a Rich Swann, the trunks, like, I talked him into doing that. So, like, to get to share something so special to me, because I was that kid. I was 17 years old, 16, 17 years old when Impact TNA, when NWA TNA started, and the weekly Wednesday pay-per-views, when they had the red X on the X Division title, I was just like, I need to be there. It was so sweet. So it was like, it was really cool to I don't know, to not only wrestle my best friend for it, but actually become X Division champion was actually this the highlight of my career.
When it was like that was like you had some amazing opportunities in Impact, X Division champion, tag champ. With the X Division, title run, how was that presented to you? Did they have much plan for it? Were they going to say, okay, we're going to give you this belt, you're going to run with it for say 3-6 months? Was there any sort of like long-term planning as you was champion?
No, they didn't tell me anything. They pulled me aside and they let me know, like, hey, this is. They pulled me aside. I think we were in Texas, and they said, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the X Division Championship on you. You worked your ass off. You're like this. This is a. They did it for a lot of companies, a lot of TV companies don't reward you like that. So Impact rewarded me. They not only they showed me that I was a guy that a lot of people trusted. A lot of people, wanted to work, because having the X Division title was kind of, the equivalent of having the Intercontinental Championship in WWE back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. That was the workhorse title. So,
Workers' time.
like when they threw the X Division title on me, and they didn't say it, but without saying it with those words, I knew what it meant. That's you're the flagship of the X Division. You're the workhorse of this locker room. People love you. People want to work you. So I mean, it was a huge honor, especially to do that. Because winning the X Division championship, you got to do that on your own. So I mean, it's just having all eyes on you, being in a stable, not having all the eyes directed towards you. It was something awesome and something fresh and something I wasn't um, used to. So it was awesome. It was like a fresh coat of paint on me, and it was a feeling that I'm still trying to get today. Like I would love to become 2-time X Division champion.
Yeah, that would like you had an amazing run as X Division champion, and I think like even in Impact Wrestling, one of the things that really stood out to me was your presentation of a character, and the way that you came to the ring, the way that you were dressed. It was like not like anything in pro wrestling that we'd seen. You know what I mean, with the vest, the shirt. You know what I mean? And then coming out like as that in that ring gear. How did you feel like going from being like put in that sort of like presentation to what you were done previously? Because previously, coming through, wrestling in tights, no shirt, to now being, shirt, vest. Did you find that restricting? Because I thought it was a cool as fuck, look for you, to be honest.
Oh, I love that look, and that was the thing. Sammy and I, we always kind of traded looks and traded moves and stuff. He's literally. I love Sammy. He's my best friend in the world. Like I love Sammy to death. So, but when he was in NXT, he was looking for a new look, and he asked me, "Hey, can I use your hoodie look?" And I was wearing the orange. It said "Killer" down the side. It had the Ohio skull on the chest. And it zipped up, and like I said, I had the hoodie, which I still wear to this day. I have a singlet top that has a hoodie attached, and people ask, why do you wear a hoodie? It's just, I don't know, it's my thing. I love it. It's a unique look. But anyways, he asked me, hey man, could I use this look? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he's like, can you send me the vest overnight? And I was like, Sammy, like the actual gear.
You don't only
like,
want to
yeah, man,
steal the look, you want to use the whole thing. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, sure. So I sent him the vest, and he ran with that, and it was sweet. But he had the World Desperado, or it was Desperado or something like that, cowboy look going on, and I was like, bro, that's sweet. And the biggest reason why I went from street clothes, like gear, to street clothes, is because like I couldn't rely on gear makers. It didn't matter like if I'd known the gear maker, like my best friend since high school with Dustin Ray's. Like he always made my gear, but like it would take him like 6 months, 8 months to a year to get the shit. And it's like, first of all, I'm not this size anymore. I probably switched the gimmick. I don't want to use those colors. I'm like, and so I just always would run into the problem with gear makers of not having your stuff on time. So I'd rather just go to Route 21 and pull something off the rack and put some skinny jeans on, and go get button up shirts with vests. And it's kind of like how we took the OVE stable. It was like I said, like Sammy had the World Desperado, like cowboy looking look, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I was like, hey man, since I let you borrow this look in NXT, we should probably let me borrow the World Desperado look. So he was cool enough to let me borrow it, and I was able to throw my unique little twist on it, kind of rock star feel with the skinny jeans. And I wore LeBron basketball shoes, LeBron 13s.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that look and just go like, and for me, I think like you stood out the most from it, because I was just like, man, this guy looks like this is a badass fucking look. one of the matches I really enjoyed at Impact was the no rope barbed wire match with LAX.
Yeah, the barbed wire massacre.
The barbed wire massacre. To me, honestly, like I know, like Impact TNA had done like a couple of them before, but to me, like for a six man barbed wire no rope barbed wire match, I thought it was a brilliantly done, great story told. Did you enjoy that match? Like, what? Because do you think that match put you on the map with Impact to a certain extent?
I loved that match. I thought that match was amazing. The only thing that sucked about that is I was wearing all white, and I was under the impression that it's barbed wire. We're gonna be able to get some really really good color, and anybody that's followed my career knows that Jake Crist is a pretty goddamn good bleeder. So the reason why I had the all white is because I thought I was gonna get busted open, and then it was a couple hours before the match. They're like, yeah, no blood. TV
That that
TV says
that
TV
was
company says no blood.
that was one of the things I
So I
was
was
actually going to ask you as well, because it's like for a barbed wire match, it seemed to be pretty clean as far as like color goes.
Yeah, dude. It's I you were breaking up really bad. I don't know if that was mine or yours, but I couldn't really understand that question, but I kind of pick it up. But as far as the whole, that was a huge downer. That was a huge blow to me when they said you couldn't bleed. And like I said, a couple hours before, I was just like, "Fuck!" And like, I remember me and Homicide looking at each other like, "Fuck!" Like,
How do you?
"Fuck!" How they gonna take this away from us?
How can you have a no rope barbed wire match and not bleed? Like that to me, like is like that's the whole premise of the barbed wire match, is to look like a fucking massacre, right?
Yeah, that's the whole. I mean, like it was, like yeah, that was the whole. That I'm still, I'm still mind fucked and boggled behind that whole thing. Like, how could you do that? And not because I mean, dude, like I still bled a little bit because I mean there was still cuts and scrapes that people couldn't see. It sucked, because because I was covered. I had white on top of white. I had white skinny jeans on. Like it was sweet. Like my whole plan was just to come out all that white to be red. It's like that's kind of been my forte throughout my whole career is get in there and especially if they're sharp, hard objects. Jay Chris is probably going to bleed.
100%.
Like
You know,
nine times out of 10.
I mean, like the death matches and barbed wire matches, you've been involved in quite a few of them over the years. What is it about deathmatch wrestling that excites you? Like, what is it about it that draws you into it?
You know, I get asked this question here and there. It's like, hey, especially with the background that I have, because come from HWA, I wrestled with guys like Matt Stryker, Chad Collier, um, Nigel McGuinness. Actually learning the ins and outs and the history of pro wrestling. And it's like, why would you, in those words, why would you stoop so low to do deathmatch wrestling? And I think it's because I was always a huge fan of Bruce Lee, big fan of Bruce Lee growing up. And when being a kid coming up into like middle school and learning about what Bruce Lee did, with his own creating his own style and his own martial art. It's kind of like how I wanted to do with wrestling. I wanted to create my own style. I wanted to do my own thing that could to get over across the world. I didn't care if I was in Japan, Germany, England, United States, in Nashville, Tennessee, down the hills in Kentucky, all the way over to the East Coast where all they care about is bleeding. hardcore, whatever action that you want on the East Coast. Those fans are brutal. I mean, if they throw rocks and batteries at Santa Claus, there's some pretty brutal fan base. So I always wanted to create a style that could get over in anywhere and everywhere in the world, and I think deathmatch wrestling is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of wrestling, and just like strong style, just like lucha libre, and that's why I try to learn those styles as well. Going down to the old school 80s or 70s Memphis wrestling, where you're just got a hold and you're shit talking the crowd. Like I can do it all, baby. So it's just like, plus I, during the pandemic, I was trying to get anything and everything that I could get. So people wanted to book me for death matches. Like hell yeah, I'll do death matches. Let's do this. And it was just a big part of developing my own style that could fit anywhere and everywhere in the world. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job at that. With death matches. Think about Terry Funk too. Terry Funk's he's my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time.
Same.
So I mean, with Funk, when he would go and dabble his toe in the hardcore deathmatch scene, so it was like, if he could do it, hell, I could do it. Like I want to follow my idol. And Terry Funk's amazing.
Oh, dude, Terry's one of the greatest of all times. Like, who can go and be over in so many different generations? Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like Chris Jericho, bro. Like, I Chris Jericho and Terry Funk are kind of like the Dave Grohl of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Because they're cool over generation. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, absolutely. Like, you're pumping me up, man. Like Terry Funk, absolutely, bro. You hit the nail on the head. Dave Grohl, man, all the different styles that dude's, what a musician, huh? Woo!
Oh, dude, 100%. But even like with deathmatch wrestling, I'm a big believer of like, pro wrestling. You know what I mean? It's the illusion, right? It's the punch looks a lot worse than what it actually feeling. I mean, hitting someone with a light tube or falling in barbed wire, I can imagine would fucking suck. But I think it's that illusion as well of what the performers are able to sort of portray, how they're selling it and certain things. Like I can remember, like, bro, I'm 40, so I remember like death matches from like the early 2000s where we see videos of guys walking around doing this. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, if you're gonna do it in a way where it tells a story in pro wrestling. Like when I was younger, death matches, I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Now I get older, I can watch them, but I'm like, all right, I want to watch a good storytelling match. I don't want them to just like go straight in and start hitting each other with gimmicks. It's like, give it a build, give it a whole reason for you guys to want to kill each other.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I got into like deathmatch stuff as well. I mean, I wanted to bring that psychology into it. I mean, those guys, they know what they're doing. It may be a different build as well. Like maybe we haven't seen the years of build of wrestler X versus wrestler X, the reason why they're throwing just a bundle of light tubes too. But like I know exactly what you mean, because like just walking into the scene, because I kind of just was thrown into it, walked right back into it. It's like my CZW days. I would do some crazy shit with Danny Havoc and stuff like that, and then got signed with Impact. It was like 2 or 3 years with Impact, so it just wasn't doing indies. So when I got back into doing indies, I got thrown back into doing a bunch of death matches, which I did by design. I did on my own accord and doing. But with that being said, like I wanted to bring that element of storytelling of I'm not just going to, and that's when I was building up the kendo stick too. I would hit people with a kendo stick. So I remember, I forget who it was. It may have been Murdoch. I think he was my first light tube match, and he goes, he's kind of showing me the ways of like, here's how you fling a tube or whatever. Like you don't want to fucking swing it with all your might. It's just, you don't know the unpredictability of deathmatch wrestling. To me, that's what makes it so cool. And that's the reason why I'm a daredevil. I like the skateboard, like I was saying earlier on. Like you never know, even rolling down the street, you hit a pebble, you might fly off your board a few yards, and you have to do a front flip. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Got a bunch of scrapes. So like that's kind of what I liked about deathmatch wrestling, is the unpredictability of a shard of light tube flying off. Like you always see them flying out in the crowd. That can fly out and swing back and hit the other person that's trying to hit you. It's I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like the cool part of light tubes and stuff like that. But anyways, he was kind of showing me the light tube stuff, and just to kind of have a idea of where it's going to go or where it's going to do, if that makes any sense. Like
Yeah.
with light tubes, is like a lot of people learn from the Nick Gage incident, where he got the light tube stuck all the way, what was like through his ribs, right?
I
It was
think, yeah,
like
just through his armpit.
it
Yeah.
yeah, armpit, yeah. Like, so I mean, a lot of people kind of learn from that. There's a lot of like, so I don't know, they kind of fling them and shit like that, and they're not as careless, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of just dabbled my toe into death matches, and kind of, you know, sitting back on the pool side. If they come back, I'll jump in, but if not, I'm cool with looking at all those awesome performers in the deathmatch world doing their thing. They can have it.
Dude, I find like deathmatch wrestling is kind of like the metal scene, right? Everyone, like, I mean, everyone looks kind of grungy and rock and roll and shit like that, but like, you find like some of the nicest fucking people involved in deathmatch wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, real introverted type of people, kind of like how, like, you see awesome fucking musicians when they grew up, they were very like introverted people, like spending time in their like room learning their craft. Deathmatch wrestlers, like a lot of them I speak to, very same, hardcore, loved hardcore extreme style of wrestling, spent a lot of time just watching that, enamored in it, how to take it to that next level. And I think now deathmatch wrestling is just like, it's kind of like the flavor of the world of wrestling for like the last couple years. And I think like it's kind of had like a peak in the early 2000s, that sort of mid 2000, it sort of was like, like I think it sort of fell off, and then like around 2014 it sort of started to peak again.
Absolutely, and I think that's because of guys like Eric Ryan and Alex Colon. Like
Yeah.
those two dudes made deathmatch wrestling like awesome again. And those dudes could work. Those dudes could wrestle. Like they actually know how to to do it, and went through the proper steps and channels of pro wrestling, and learned their craft. So I mean, like, my hat's off to Eric Ryan and Alex Colon, because those two are the best deathmatch wrestlers in the world, in my opinion.
I,
Like,
I,
I don't
I
think anybody could step up to them. And I had a killer match with Cologne at Revolver. I would love to have a death match with Eric Ryan before I actually step away from deathmatch wrestling, which I don't even think I will, but
yeah.
who knows? I mean, like, I don't like, I like the unpredictability of it, but doing it every so often and actually having a purpose and building to it, I'd prefer than just jumping right into just, hey, me and such in a death match. Let's build to it. Let's make a let's build a house. Let's make some
Make it
money.
mean something.
Let's make it mean something. Yeah. Like
it's
that's
it's kind of like, you know, I think like intergender wrestling's a big thing now, and people saying like there is no women's wrestling, it's just wrestling. I think like I agree to that to a certain extent, and you know, I think like good deathmatch wrestling, good intergender wrestling, good wrestling's good wrestling. Bad wrestling is fucking bad wrestling, no matter what the genre is, right?
absolutely, and it's. I was a huge. I don't know. With intergender wrestling, I feel like I was kind of in the front part of that. You know, especially with doing it on TV. Um, Intergender wrestling. I used to. Um, Run a show in Dayton called Rockstar Pro Wrestling for 6 years. We ran every Wednesday and the first Friday of every month. I was the first promotion to. I think Jakara may have did it a few months before I did, but I wasn't paying attention to them because like I said, when I was running my own thing, like I was paying attention to Rockstar and Rockstar only.
Yeah.
So I put I had a secondary title called the American Lucha Core title, and I put that on my wife. And I let her run with it for a few months, and it got over huge. Um, and I put the world title on her, like our world title, and for a few months, and that got over even bigger. So like intergender wrestling, I feel was a huge part of wrestling.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of
But
like,
if it's bad, it's bad.
but
If
dude,
it's
like
bad wrestling, it's bad wrestling.
I've had people say to me, they go, but it's not believable, right? And I said, okay, well, in that case, then Rey Mysterio shouldn't have won half the matches that he's had in his like illustrious career then. And they go, well, what do you mean? He's a male. And I'm like, yeah, but like he beat guys that are fucking 7 foot tall and he's 5'6". That's not realistic, bro. Like, but you're questioning this, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
some senses, like,
it all depends on what your take on pro wrestling is. Like, I like to look at pro wrestling as a comic book, and we're all different comic book characters in this wacky world of professional wrestling. So like you see women in comic books taking down men all the time, don't you? Beating
100%.
up men, so it's like, why can't that happen in our world?
And you know what? Another thing I always say is like anyone who's done jiu-jitsu, I used to do jiu-jitsu MMA. I can tell you now, I used to roll, and one of the people at my gym was this chick who was like half my size, probably 4'10", and every time we rolled, she fucked me up. She tapped me out multiple times, and the size didn't matter. The strength didn't matter. Skill, it's only people who can really understand that, who have been in that situation. I think anyone else just doesn't understand.
Right. Yeah. It's just like I've been hit by all walks of life. But when women forearm you, when women hit you, that shit stings. That shit hurts. They hit you harder than the men do. So I mean, like all that, put that shit out the door. Like, have an open mind. Like if you're gonna be closed minded like that, then don't come into this yard. Don't come into this house.
100%, man. But also I think like a lot of women as well probably are like, you know what, I'm out to prove a point that I can fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your wife, especially,
Yeah,
who's been in the business for quite a long time. You know what I mean? I'm sure she's had those roadblocks of people going, oh, you're just a little, yeah, okay, little lady, just relax. Okay, I'll fucking little lady you right
yeah.
here.
I don't want to put words into their minds or mouths, but I could imagine having a chip on your shoulder like that and want to prove yourself for sure. Because coming in I was in 2001, 2002 when I started. I was a sophomore, just getting ready to turn junior into high school when I started my journey in pro wrestling. And when I came in, I was literally a boy coming into a men's world. So
Yeah,
I mean, like a men's locker room. I was walking into HWA, and there were guys with developmental deals. Like guys that WWE were or WW. I guess they I don't know if they may have just been switching into WWE, but WWF, I believe at the time, literally screwed over so many of those guys' opportunities and livelihoods because I was just starting out and screwing up everything and fucking up their opportunities to be seen by a multi-million, became a billion dollar company organization to WWE. So looking back at those times, being a boy coming into a man's world, I kind of feel bad for those guys because I was so nervous and fucking up everything. I literally probably screwed up so many opportunities of those guys. So I just appreciate that they didn't kill me. They beat the shit out of me. Trust me. Like I was, I, I, I couldn't even walk down the school or the schoolway halls after some of those matches fucking up so bad. But yeah, dude, the business has definitely changed from 2002 to
Oh,
now.
absolutely, yeah. Well, you know, I think back then was still that sort of old mindset of like, oh, you want to be in this, we're going to beat you down to beat you not to want to do it. And I think only the strong keep coming back and want to be a part of it, right?
That's exactly how it was, and that was literally like the last of that. It was, I feel like that was the last kind of I don't know, the era of beating the shit out of people just to beat the shit out of them to see if they can come back and or walk through the next door or the door the next day. So I mean, dude, it just, yeah, those days they suck, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It definitely put a toughness on you and made you appreciate even just stepping through the ropes to get to do it on a weekly basis was an honor.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, it makes you respect the business as well a little bit more, knowing that it's not all, you know, sunshines, lollipops, and, you know, good times. It's like, hey, this is a tough business. We're going to show you how tough it is.
I skipped school. It was my senior year. I skipped school one day to go to an HWA training class, and I walked in the doors, and Les Thatcher looked at me and said, "The best thing that ever could have happened to you and this business is your mother should have swallowed you."
Oh, oh, fuck. Jesus.
I'm like, oh, okay, because I looked at myself, looked at my mirror. I'm like, I looked at his colleague. I'm like, why does he hate me so much? He's like, oh, it's because you're 120 pounds soaking wet, kid. I'm like, oh shit, that's why my mother should have swallowed me.
Because I'm
So
small.
yeah, because I'm small. Yeah, the business would have been better off if I would have been swallowed.
Jesus, that's a.
That was like the first thing he said to me.
But
First thing.
but how do you even respond to that as like a teenager? Because it's like I can imagine teenage angst. You're like, hey, fuck you, and like, you know,
I
or you
was
just
I
like,
was shocked. I was shocked because I mean this was a hunched over. Is Les Thatcher was what I think every pro wrestling trainer should be. Like I don't think you should be training people in your 30s and 40s and when you're in your highlight of your career. You know the when you're in your prime of your career, you shouldn't be training people. Like to me, a trainer is a grizzled veteran that's been up and down the roads. It's hunched over. It's got the glasses, and that's exactly white hair. That's exactly what Les was. He was one badass motherfucker, and he made me believe that you know maybe I shouldn't do this. Like it was definitely
make you
a
question,
question.
question you
Made you
this.
question yourself. Like, oh, should I do this? I'm like 17 years old, and this old dude that I don't even know because I didn't know who Les Thatcher was. At that time, like of course, when I kept coming back, I did my research, did my history, and I figured out, what Les was and He's actually a high flyer in his day. He did a drop kick, and he was considered a high flyer. And his finish was the stunt puller, which a mighty, devastating submission hold. So, yeah, like but at that time, young teenager me was looking at my friend like I should kick this old man's ass. But then there was a bit of me that was like, I don't think I could whip his ass.
How long did it take for you to like gain like Les Thatcher's respect? You know what I mean? Like from like looking at you as like a 120-pound kid to like
You,
how long did it take?
I have no idea. I don't even know if I still have his respect. I try to speak with him every so often. I'll message him. But yeah, man, I don't know if he's still bitter of this 120-pound kid walking into his gym or not. Like I don't know. I don't know if I ever got his respect. I hope I have. Les, if you're listening, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, please. But how did you get started with CZW? Because you had like quite a run over there for a while as well.
So being friends with Sammy, he would always put me over, and they were doing what was it? Best of the Best. Man, I don't even remember what year it was. It was, I think, Adam Cole, AR Fox, Daisuke Sakimoto, Sammy Callahan, a few other people uh, were in that tournament, and I was luckily put over enough. I think Moxley put me over. Sammy and Drake Younger put me over to DJ. I was like, DJ, book Jake, like he's awesome. Fucking he, because I think I was doing I was just breaking off my singles stuff. As throughout my career, I tried to break out so many times from the pack and just doing single stuff, doing stuff on my own. And this was the one time that I got to do it, and I was just right place, right time, and the right people put me over to the owner of the company, and he took a shot on me. The conversation was weird and odd. I didn't know who the fuck DJ Hyde was. And the way he booked me and the way he spoke to me on the phone, it was so funny. So like thinking about it right now, it's so so much hilarious stuff in that conversation. It's like, so I'm not going to lie to you, Jake. Only reason why I'm booking you is because Sammy, John, and Drake put you over. I don't even know who you are. And I'm like, well, fuck me then. Thanks, bud. Thanks. What am I just
What a
chopped
way to
fucking
welcome
liver
someone
over
to your
here?
promotion, bro. Eh?
Way to fucking welcome me. And we discussed pay and did everything. Drake came, picked me up, went to the ECW arena. I was warming up, and DJ comes up to me and he goes, I don't know, who are you?
Oh, get the
I'm
fuck.
like, are you? I'm Jake Crist. I was like, but don't worry. By the end of the night, you're gonna know who the fuck I am.
Hell
And
yeah.
then I ended up killing it with Sammy and AR Fox in a 3-way. The next day, I wrestled Moxley in his last independent match before he went to WWE for
Wow.
CZW. Is that some? I think it was in New York. The Ace Arena. That's what it was. The Ace Arena. I can't believe I remember that.
What were your thoughts going into CZW though? Like, had you known much about the company like before going in, of what they were?
Absolutely. I was a part of the Ring of Honor CZW feud. I was on the
Oh,
Ring of
really?
Honor side though. Yeah.
Oh, that was back in
I've been around
2005?
2000. Well, I think it was out of 2006ish.
Yeah, right. Because I remember they had like the big cage of death.
Yeah, I wasn't like in any of like the interpromotional matches. I was just on the Ring of Honor side. I remember we did it was a double header. It was Ring of Honor and CZW at night. And the end of Ring of Honor, CZW ran off us with what was it? A weed whacker.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Zandig ran everybody off with a weed whacker. I remember jumping out of the ring and over the guardrail and out the front door as fast as I could. And Zandig walked up to everybody in the locker room and he goes, "If you don't get out of the way, I'm going to hit you with this weed whacker." And I didn't want to fucking be hit with that weed whacker, so I got the fuck out of the way.
Oh, dude, I don't blame you, bro. Like, I've never been a wrestler. Never taken bumps into like anything or barbed wire. But if I ever feel like I was in the business and someone came up and said, "Hey, man, so this is the plan for our match. This weed whacker, right? I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna hit you in the fucking gut with it." I'd be like, "Yeah, good fucking luck,
Like,
bro."
yeah, I'll be over here around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be around that area at all. But yeah, man. Uh, so I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and by that time, the CZW that I was getting into was nothing like the real CZW. As I mean, and I didn't know this at the time. Like I didn't know what was what. Like I found out later that Zandig sold the company to DJ, and DJ. I mean, like, and I was a part of that for years with him just fucking up CZW left and right. I remember him going through Booker after Booker and just changing the Booker's stuff and matches that they had going on, like the day of the show. Him putting himself on the show, and it was just like I remember Sammy talking him out of like DJ, just go one show without booking yourself. Like you don't need to be on the show. Like you're not over like you think you are. Like you got the wrong kind of heat. You got the go away heat. People don't want to see you. Just just distance yourself all out of the company and just fucking sit back and collect the money, because that's all he had to do with CZW was wipe off those letters, wipe off that logo, and he would have had something special.
Yeah, and I feel like CZW over the years went from having such a loyal roster of people to eventually just having guys that like they weren't CZW guys, right? So for years, it's like, oh, there's always been CZW guys, Danny Havoc, Wife Beater Lobo, Messiah, all these guys from back then. I think John Moxley, Drake Younger, those were kind of like the final days of that to a certain extent. And then it was just like CCW was just like, okay, we're just bringing in indie guys. Here's a kind of a name guy, bring him in. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like there was no roster of CZW performers. It was just independent wrestlers on a CZW show.
Yeah, absolutely right, and I think that's all because of DJ Hyde. Because he'd grab on to the hottest thing, which is fine. You got to do sometimes, but man, like build your roster around him. Then get those couple guys that are hot. If you can get them commit to 6 months to a year, long worth of dates. Get those guys built, but then build your roster around those guys, which is what I thought he was doing with Drake and Sammy. Well, Moxley, by the time I was already there, he already signed his deal. But I mean, like, Danny Havoc, Devin Moore, those guys were those CZW guys, and if he would have just built CZW brand around Sammy and Adam Cole and AR Fox, he wouldn't be struggling today. He wouldn't be a joke. He's a laughing stock in the business. It's like you see CZW popping up here and there, having shows, and it's just the groups that I'm a part of. They're just constantly blasting them, make fun of them, and I find it hilarious because it is a joke. It's not ever going to be CZW of what people loved and cared about, right? To what it was.
Yeah, dude. I mean, for a company that was like, an independent company in the east of United States, dude, I became a fan of CZW from like 99, 2000, around that time from wrestling magazines. And like now it's like I see their shows and stuff and see the stuff they're doing online. It's like, dude, this looks like a fucking kid's, like a 10-year-old kid's party that just has a
Yeah, I
wrestling
mean,
show.
like, it's fucking CZW, man. DJ Hyde, what did you do to CZW? There's people that still care about this company, DJ. Just walk away. Give it to somebody give it back to Zandig. Come on.
But he's gotten a lot of heat late in the last year or so for being like a Trump supporter.
Never mind. Don't give it back to that guy. Fuck that guy.
Give
I
it
don't
to
know anything
someone.
about that guy. Give it to somebody give it to a fan that cares about it.
That's it, man. But another promotion that I wanted to talk to you about was IWA Mid South. After you left Impact, that was one of the I'd say your home promotion for a lot of leaving it in the short or sweet of it. But you did have quite a run there. World champ, junior heavyweight champ, or middleweight champ, whatever they were calling it. Then the fallout happened with Ian Rotten. What was the relationship with Ian Rotten for you over the years? Because I know you've known him for a long time. You've worked for him for a few times over the years. What's the relationship been with him over those years leading up to today?
Well, I've known Ian. I went to Ian shows when I was 15, 16 years old, when he would have Punk and Cabana at the Dayton Burkhart Center. Like that's literally 5 minutes down the street from my house today. So like I literally would turn right on to Burkhart and be there in a few minutes. So being a kid, knowing Ian for so long, of course you would hear the stories of him not paying people. My traveling buddy at the time, BJ Whitmer, he got screwed over really hard on I think it was the Chicago show or somewhere around Chicago. It's his story. But anyways, he got screwed over. I think it was like, I don't know, 9 or 10 years ago. So he always kind of put that in my head, like, hey, Jake, like Ian, like he'll screw you over. This is what happened to me. Cause I wasn't a part of that show. I just heard it the next time I got into the car with BJ. He was telling me the story about how he got screwed over. So fast forward when I got in the thick of things of working for Ian during the pandemic, I told him straight up. I was like, "Hey man, I know the reputation. Like, just don't screw me over. Don't fuck me over on pay." And he's like, "Oh, you don't ever have to worry about that, blah, blah, blah." So I always kind of thought I was taken care of. And then, like I said, like 2 years, he's never, ever screwed me over. And during the pandemic, even, like during the time of like where you could actually screw people over on money and actually have an excuse of not having people in your crowd to pay me, like I could see that you only have two people in the crowd, like, if there was an excuse to have to not pay somebody, that was the time to have it. But we always had that understanding and that agreement, like, hey man, like it's only going to take one time for you to screw me over, because like I know the history. Yeah. In the past, like I would give my paydays to the boys, the wrestlers. I would say, hey man, the crowd was obviously really, really bad tonight, so please like take my payday and break it up and give like 5, 10, 15 bucks to the wrestlers, and because I know what it's like being a young wrestler in this business and not having gas money or not having money to get a hamburger after the show. So it was like, please break this up, give it to the boys, make sure they have something to get home. I did that a few times. And there was a couple times during the show where he would, or during different shows, he'd be like, "Hey man, draw's bad. Can I PayPal you such date?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Well, Chicago, me and John Wayne were about to have deadly doors, and there was like firecrackers taped to these doors. And 2 matches before mine, I'm dressed, ready to go. I drove 6.5 hours from Dayton to Chicago to do the show. So I had to catch a flight out of O'Hare that next morning to do Circle 6 in Orlando the next day. So two matches before ours, Murdoch, or before mine and Murdoch's, Ian comes up and goes, "Hey guys, I'm not going to be able to pay you tonight. Can I PayPal you on Monday?" Say, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So we go off. We have that match. We kill it. Boom. Orlando. I wrestled Anthony Henry. Had a killer match with Anthony Henry at Circle 6. It's like that Monday, I get home from traveling, so forth. I go, "Hey man," it was like late at night. I was like, "All right, I'm sorry. I let that Monday pass." It was like that Tuesday is when I got home from traveling and shit. I go, "Hey bro, I didn't see anything in the PayPal. Am I missing something?" Said, "You PayPal me on Monday." He's like, "Oh, Western Union messed up the check. Like the check's not going to be here in time." I'm like, "Check? What are you talking about?" He's like, my bank account, all my funds got frozen, and they sent me a check with every cent that I had in my account, and Western Union or FedEx or somebody was is bringing that to me. FedEx, that's what it was. FedEx is supposed to deliver that to me, and it's delayed. I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure, no problem." So I literally forget about it for like a week or so. I let it go by, and "Hey man, I noticed there's nothing in the PayPal. Like, what's going on?" "Oh, I'm sorry, Jake. Like, I'll get it to you tonight. Something about FedEx again." I was like, "All right, cool, no problem." The night, couple days go by. I message him. He starts ghosting me for like a week or so. And then now it's like, fast forward, it's about a month, and it's that a week. It's that Monday before his show on Friday, because I'm supposed to do the same deal. I'm supposed to go wrestle for him in Chicago, catch a flight for Circle 6 for LA the next day. I had it all mapped out, all planned out with Ian, because I was going to wrestle one of the very first few matches so I could get to my gate on time, because like my plane was leaving at 10. So I was just going to do like match 1 or 2, jump in and boom. But I noticed that the actual building, not Ian, not anybody from his camp, the building posted, "Hey, September 18th show is, or not September 8th, the June 18th show is canceled. It's not happening." So I screenshotted it and I sent it to him. I'm like, "Hey, bro, what's going on? Like, I'm supposed to be flying out of Chicago to do your show. Like, is your show not happening?" And he ghosted me. Doesn't say a word. I'm like, all right. So this was at 5 a.m., 5 in the morning. I'm like, all right. Couple hours go by. Send him another message. "Dude, I really need to know, is your show happening? What's going on?" And I sent him the screenshot again. And he didn't send it to me. I'm like, "All right, bro. Like, I've noticed we don't have any money in the PayPal. You're not messaging me about if your show's canceled or not. So I need my $600 that you owe me in my PayPal by by 5 p.m. Or keep your eyes on social media. I'll have a video for you. So like, don't hear nothing, don't hear anything at all. And that was probably around I think 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Don't
So
hear a
he's had
word from his.
hours. Yeah. So he's had
What's that?
hours. He's had
Oh, he's had
hours.
hours at this point. And at this point, I'm talking with Zachary Wentz because he's supposed to do the same thing with me. He's supposed to do IWA. We're supposed to jump in the car, go to O'Hare, and get on a plane and go to LA to catch our show. And he goes, Zach's telling me that he's talking with Ian throughout the morning and saying the show is going to happen. That is still going to happen, but I still haven't received a word about the money that he owes me or if the show is going to happen. So I give him that ultimatum, like, hey, 5 o'clock or keep your eyes on social media. Me and my buddy drive over to the place that I like to cut promos, and it's like 4:50, 10 minutes before I'm gonna burn his belts. And he messages me, "Oh, Jake, I hope you get this. I've been trying to reach you for hours. My phone's messed up. I'm at the hospital right now. Misty just had a heart attack. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Misty's his
His partner.
fiance, his girlfriend, whatever." So I go, "No, you're a bullshit liar. You got 6 more minutes. Keep your eyes on social media. If you don't PayPal me my money you owe me." So waited till about, I think it was 2 minutes past 5. I get a hold of my beautiful, stunning wife, and I go, "Hey, sweetheart, has Ian PayPal me yet?" And she goes, "Nope." I go, "Awesome." So I hand my phone over to my buddy Bobby, and I go, "Bobby, are you ready?" He's like, "Let's do this, bud." So yeah, I proceeded to film what you seen on social media. Um, he messages me on the way back from just burning his belts and his fiance, and was like, "No, Jake, trust me," because I blocked him. I blocked IWA and Ian from messaging me on social media and on my phone. So Misty got a hold of me and was like, "No, Jake, just give us till tonight, please. Like, we'll pay you tonight. Um, I'm really in the hospital." And she sent me a fake picture of like her wrist that wasn't even the same name as hers, like on her, like doctor, the
Oh, shit.
hospital tag, you know what I mean? So like,
Can't he
I was
stick together,
just,
right?
yeah, though. So it's like, that's what they do, though. They go on social media and they pull pictures off to try to make their bullshit not stink. But I sent through and I sent them a message. I was like, "Hey, what's done is done. Um, the video will be uploaded soon. Just tell Ian to keep his eyes peeled on social media." And then
Oh,
got it edited up, and next thing you know, it blew up. It pun
yeah.
intended, it caught fire. It was awesome.
Dude, I watched, like, I remember seeing it on Instagram or Twitter, and I was like, I watched it. I'm like, hold on a sec, what the fuck's going on here? And it was like, I went back and I watched it again. I'm like, oh shit, he's burning the IWA belts. And then I'm like, all right, what? Tried to look what it's into it, but the fact is like, I found it surprising that a lot of people were like, oh my god, Ian Rotten doesn't pay people. I'm like, I'm on the other side of the fucking world. I've known this shit for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, he's an interesting, like, a very interesting character, man. Like, I was supposed to have him on my podcast a month or so ago. And a few hours before the podcast, he messaged me and said, "Hey, man, I'm on holidays. I don't have the best phone reception. we may need to reschedule. And I'm like, wouldn't you know that you're on holidays when a week before when we organize this, bro? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
dude.
mean? You could have said,
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty cool. I would have been like, okay, man, you can have your holiday when you're back. We'll sort it out. But I just, yeah. And then ghosted me after that. And I was like, that's kind of like, I was like,
It's what he
yeah,
does, man. He ghosts fucking people. But that's the thing, is like a lot of, and I know he had the reputation, like I said, I mean, like, but with BJ years prior to that, like with him screwing over my buddy, and like I thought I was pretty much, like we were in the understanding, like, hey bro, don't fuck me over. Like, I'm not the person that to fuck over, because if you do, like, I will end up getting you. So like, and I knew he'd screw people over for years and years and years of screwing people over. Like, I get that, but like the years that I've worked for him, even before the pandemic, it's like he never screwed me over, because like I like I don't know, I had it in, like, I always knew it in my back pocket. Like, he knew that I knew that if he could he's going to screw over my friend, that he'd screw over me. So it's like we both just kind of had that agreement and understanding, like, hey, you're not gonna fuck me over, right? Right? You're not gonna fuck me over, right? Until it was, the time to fuck me over. But
what
that's you live and you learn.
100%. What, like, did you hear like what his reaction was to the video, like of the burning of the belts? Because, like, I saw that, I was like, oh shit, like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking statement, bro. Like, when you burn a promoter's fucking belts, like, did you get a response from him about it? Like, what was the whole like thing after that, the aftermath?
No, like I said, before I posted it, I deleted him and blocked him on everything, just trying to contact me, because I didn't want this dude to fucking message me and try to be like, "Hey, let's turn this into a work." Like, no, like I did this for three reasons. First reason, first reason, number one, he fucked me on money. He owes me $600. That's my rent. Like, that's my house payment. You know what I'm saying? So like, legit. And during these hard times, because it's hard times, baby. Trust me,
Hard time.
it's hard times out here, especially out here for Jakecrist. It's hard times now, but when we're talking about hard times for real, so like, one, he screwed me over $600. My house payment. That's the first reason. Second reason, for all those people that he has fucked over in the past. I wasn't burning down a legacy. I wasn't trying to like throw a belt in the garbage or anything like that. Like, I was trying to be different in the fact of like, this is my point, and this is I this is the message that I want to send. And that's exactly what I did. And the third reason why is because I knew deep down burning his titles and fucking them up would fuck him up and hurt him the most. Because like, he like, yeah, everyone does this, but like, man, he actually believes this. So it's like, that was my way of ripping his fucking heart out and punting it 50 yards down the field, because that's what I did, like, with burning his title. So those are the three reasons why. I did it for my children. I did it for the reasons, or the money that he owes me. He did it for the people that he's fucked over in the past, and I did it just to try to literally rip his fucking heart out.
But also, man, like, to go on and continue to do like what he's done for 20 years, it's fucked. And it's kind of like, to do that as well. Like, dude, you got a family, you got kids. This is what you do to provide for your family, man. And as a man, as a father, I can understand when someone tries to fucks with your money that you look after your family with. Like, yeah, fucking oath, you're gonna be hot about it, bro. I did pop when I saw the fucking photo of the bird belly. You talking? I'm like, and you're something like, I'm gonna defend this fucking like the sash or something.
Yeah, the sash, dude. So like I made it into a sash. I drilled a bunch of holes into like the front plate. It actually looks it's looking pretty cool. But yeah, I wanna defend the sash to any promotions that will allow me to defend I call it the mid sash right now, but right I'm open to names my buddy said I should name the mid sash Blazy, so I kind of like that idea, the Blazy sash. But I'm open to ideas, and if you want to throw your name out for the sash, I'll listen. I'll hear it. Just throw it on any of my socials, and maybe I'll pick your name, because I kind of had the idea of like, how like Negan was in The Walking Dead with
Yeah,
Lucille. It's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of how I want to be with the sash. If I can just give it a name and just walk around defending it until it runs its course, and then I'm I'm up in the air on what I want to do. I don't know if I want to just keep it forever, or if I want to like. I'm thinking about cutting up the ropes and giving a piece of the belt to people that he's really screwed over in the past. Like, give a piece like John Wayne Murdoch and guys like that. That's really really fucked over by Ian. Some fans has been screwed over, but
Yeah,
I really don't want to take the chance of any of the pieces getting back to him either. So like I'm really torn on what I want to do with the ending. I might just throw it in the river. Who knows? Who knows
yeah. Well,
what's gonna
there's got
end
to
up
be
with
some
it?
hardcore fan that'll pay big money for it. So
If and that's the thing too. If you're out there listening and you want to pay big money for the sash, hit me up. That sash could be yours.
that's it. But look, we are getting to that time. It is time for Guess the Aussie Slang. We have warned or briefed Jake about how this is going to work. How it's going to start is I'm going to give you a slang word or slang phrase, and you're going to tell me what it means essentially.
All right.
Have you ever been to Australia?
Never, never. I want to. I want to come. Let's do this.
We got to get you down here, bro. But all right, so we're gonna get started. All right. So the first one we're gonna do is booze bus. I'm gonna put this in a sentence for you, mate. Be careful up the road. There's a fucking booze bus out. Booze bus.
Booze bus. Is something in the road? Maybe booze bus. Let me hear it one more time.
Be careful. There's a booze bus up the road. Drive safe. I hope you haven't been drinking.
Yes.
I've kind of given it away there.
Oh, yeah. Cops up there busting you for booze.
Yeah, so it's
A booze bus.
a booze bus, a police
I like
vehicle
that.
catch drunk drivers. Yeah, so
Like a
all right,
DUI checkpoint.
yeah, exactly. So
I
all right,
like that.
here's another one I got for you. All right, so this one is Aka Daka. Hey Jake, you a fan of Aka Daka, mate?
Steroids?
No, Aka Daka.
Academic sounds like some sort of steroid that you put in your body.
Akadaka, no, it's Akadaka. Akadaka is the affectionate name that people use. The abbreviated version, which is actually longer than what it is ACDC. So I'm not sure if you're an ACDC fan, but the ACDC name got created because one of the sisters of the members couldn't say Black and Decker. So they'd say, oh, look, the Akadaka for the thing. They're like, ACDC. Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is cool, man. I'm not a big ACDC fan. I love rock and roll, but not a fan of ACDC. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
dude, I'm a fan, but they have been playing the same like 4 chords for 40 years, bro.
Yeah, like I've never really been a fan. Yeah.
That's okay.
I do
All right,
like Highway to Hell though. I do like that. That's AC/DC, right? Yeah.
oh, absolutely. All right, so we got another one for you. This one is called Budgie Smuggler. Shit, my dad came over to my house and he's out near my pool, and he's wearing his fucking Budgie Smuggler again.
Oh, that's it's got to be some sort of thong or thong underwear, swimsuit.
I'll give it to you. It's a Speedo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. So
that's
the reason
the same
why,
thing in my mind. Speedo,
so
thong, the same thing in my mind.
the reason why we call it a budgie smuggler is because when you get out of the water when you're wearing them, it looks like you smuggle. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. All right. All right. So here's another one, mate. Don't let your missus near that baby, or she'll start getting fucking clucky. Clucky.
Ooh, that's got to be baby fever, like wanting to have a baby.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
Baby. Bro, I got 3 kids. My youngest is 1, and the other week we were around friends who have a newborn baby, and my wife's holding. She's like, "Oh, look at the newborn." I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
nope. Three's the magic number. I'm done.
Absolutely. Anytime my wife holds a newborn, she looks at me and I go, "Please no, please no."
I'm the exact same one. I'm the same way. All right. Okay. So next word we're going to use is rooted. Mate, that thing is fucking rooted. Rooted.
It's there to stay. It's bolted to the ground.
No. So rooted means it's dead. It's just destroyed. It's like fucked. You could even say, "Oh man, I'm feeling rooted today," which means I'm feeling just under the weather. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple more that will go. Next one is Devo. Mate, I was fucking Devo that my team lost the game last night. Fucking Devo.
Pissed. You're mad. Distraught.
I'll kind of give it. I was devastated.
Devastated. Okay.
All right, so we got a couple more. Okay, so the last 2 that I'm going to give you are going to be like, there's multiple in there, so I'm going to break them down for you. Okay, so this first one is going to have a few in there. So the words are going to be like Franger, old fella, Sheila, root. And I'm going to put this in a sentence for you.
All right.
Hey, Dave, have you got a spare Franger for me, old fella? Because I just picked up this Sheila and I think she's keen for a root.
Oh, you're ready to give her a pounding?
Yep. I'll give it to you. So,
ready to have some sex, some sexual intercourse.
Franger, condom.
You ready
old
to
fella,
pound her?
Yeah, old fella, which is that. Sheila, which is a word, and then root, which in America you guys call like, I'm rooting for you, like cheering for you. But if you were to say that to an Australian, hey man, I'm going to be rooting for you. It's like, hey man, for us, rooting means like having sex. So we'd be like, what, you're going to have sex for me? Like, what? The fuck?
What? Like what?
Exactly. But all right, so we'll go the last one. This is going to be another multiple choice one. Okay, so this one's going to be Servo, Durries, Macca's, Bottle-O. Okay?
All right.
So I'll put it in a sentence for you. Hey, mate, before you come over to my house, can you please swing past the Servo, pick me up a packet of Durries, then can you drive past Macca's, pick up some shit down there, and then swing past the Bottle-O and pick up a slab? Can you tell me from start to finish what I just said?
Was you trying to pick up a pack of smokes?
Yeah, that's the first bit. You got that. All right. Go to Macca's.
I have no idea the rest, to be honest. I was like, okay, I know you were going to pick up a pack of smokes, but going the Durries is kind of it's throwing me for a loop there.
Yeah, so Durries is what we call cigarettes. Servo is like a service station, a gas station.
Oh,
So
okay.
Macca's is McDonald's, and Bottle-O is like a liquor store, and a slab is like a case of beer.
All right. I would have picked the slab to be like ribs or a slab of ribs, for a barbecue. But it's kind of around the same area as you.
Same sediment,
At least I
same.
got the pack of smokes.
That's it. We'll give a round of applause to Jake. He's done. You know
Here,
what? You've done pretty well, man, on the Aussie slang. I think you'll get over well.
here in America, if you say I'm going out for a pack of smokes and it's your dad, normally it means he ain't coming back.
Yeah, just going out for ice cream. I'll see you in 20 years, son. That has been Guess the Aussie Slang. Jake, it's been amazing having you on. This conversation has been great. Like, I've just looked at the time, an hour and 35 minutes. It's been a great conversation where an hour and 35 has just gone so quick. I'd love to get you back on for a part 2 at some stage if we can arrange it. But Jake, thank you for being on. Where can everyone find you on social media, and where can people buy some merch? Where can they get some Jake Crist merch to support you and get behind an awesome performer?
I have actually some 8x10s and t-shirts out right now. Hit me up on my social medias, Twitter and Instagram, DJ Crist. Facebook's just DJ Crist. But yeah, want to support me, buy a t-shirt, buy some 8x10s. I got an 8x10 of the Burning Belts. This is awesome. And another fire starter, because I'm going to take the fire starter gimmick and kind of run with that a little bit and do that moniker for a while and see what shakes about that.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, look, as I said, thank you so much for being on. Thank you to everyone who tuned in live. Thank you for everyone checked out post live. We appreciate you. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified. Give us a 5-star review on any of the podcast platforms. Also, please make sure you go and check out our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleefs.com. Use those promo codes MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. But guys, we're wrapping it up now. So take care. Thank you, Jake, for being on again. We'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care. All the best. Peace.